Hello friends, welcome to our channel CBSE English The Topper's Choice. In this video, we are going to discuss Class 12th 7th story from Supplementary Reader Vistas, Evans Tries an O-Level. At the beginning, we'll discuss the author of this story. The author of the story, Evans Tries an O-Level, is Norman Colin Dexter. Norman Colin Dexter was born on 29th September 1930 and died on 21st March 2017. He was an English crime writer known for his Inspector Morse series of novels, which were written between 1975 and 1999 and were adapted as a TV series. The theme of this story. The theme of the story, Evans Tries an O-Level, is a clever escape planned by a convict on the pretense of taking a language exam in prison. The convict, even after being caught, still has the last laugh and makes his escape. The story also brings to light the fact that one should not underestimate one's opponent. The police officers were thorough in their preparations, but they underestimated Evans and his power to give them the slip. Introduction to this story. This is a detective fiction dealing with the account of the jailbreak by Evans, a criminal who was an expert in running from prison. The story deals with his smartness, foresight, and planning his escape. With his meticulous planning and keen observation, Evans outsmarts the prison authorities. The story deals with the clever escape of Evans and the governor's pursuit to catch him. Evans, with his ready wit and charm, proves at the end that things are not what they seem to be, and we should not jump to the conclusions hastily. Summary of this story. The story begins in the Oxford prison, where the governor contacts the Assistant Secretary of Examination Board on the telephone. Evans, one of the prisoners, wanted to appear for the O-Level German exam. He was already taking private tuitions. The governor, when asked by the board, confirmed that Evans was not violent but a congenital kleptomaniac. It was decided that he would appear for the exam in the cell, and a person from St. Mary's Church would invigilate, and Evans should remain incommunicado. All the preparations for Evans' examination were made. He had escaped from the jail 3 times earlier and was supposed to be shifted to another house later. The governor was very irritated by Evans and did not want to take any chance. On June 7th, at 8:30 p.m., the German tutor, who was giving private tuition to Evans, wished him good luck as he had his exam the next day. On 8th June, Mr. Jackson and Stephens, the 2 jail officers, entered Evans' room and took all the precautionary steps. They took away his razor after he shaved, along with his nail scissors and nail file. They asked Evans to take off his untidy white and red hat, but Evans requested them to let it remain with him as it was his lucky cap. At 8:45, Reverend McLeary left his flat and reached the prison. He had a small brown briefcase containing a sealed question paper, a yellow immigration form, a special ID card, a paper knife, the Bible, and a newspaper. The exam was to be held at 9:15 in Evans' cell. At 9:10, the governor switched on the receiver. Evans' cell was locked and prison officers were on alert. The examination started with the paper name 0211 and index number 313 and center number 271. At 9:40, the governor got a call from the examination board that a correction slip was left behind, and so the governor allowed the correction slip with the spelling of Golden Lion. The examination continued and Stephens kept a watch on the cell. At 10:50, Evans requested for permission to wrap a blanket around him. At 11:25, the exam got over. Stephens personally escorted McLeary to the prison gate. He was looking slimmer and his Scots accent was more prominent. Everything went off well. Stephens thought of having a last look at Evans before getting relieved and was shocked to find a man lying in Evans' chair covered with blood. It was McLeary. Evans was reported to have escaped. Police and ambulance were called. McLeary showed the question paper and said that he knew where Evans was. The governor instructed McLeary to be taken to the hospital. He was shown a photocopied sheet. Detective Superintendent Carter arrived and he took McLeary along with him to provide medical assistance to him on the Elsfield Way, where Evans could be found, as this was the message written on the question paper. After some time, Carter reported that Evans could not be traced out and he had left McLeary at Radcliffe Hospital. The governor called at the hospital and found that there was no McLeary. Later, it was discovered that the real McLeary was found gauged and bound in his house. Now, the fact came to the notice that it was Evans who had stayed as McLeary in the cell. Meanwhile, Evans was enjoying his freedom at a luxurious hotel, but he was surprised and shocked to find the governor in his room. Evans felt defeated and confessed that there was no mistake in the spelling of Golden Lion, but it had been done since the hotel had not been fixed. Correction slip was used to convey the name of the hotel and know what time the exam had started. The governor told Evans that when he put 313 by 217, he knew that it referred to the middle of Chipping Norton. McLeary had worn 2 collars, 2 black fronts, etc., and Evans had changed all this get-up under the blanket. The governor was keen to know from where he got blood to pour on his face. Evans admitted that it was pig's blood in the rubber ring that McLeary had brought. Now Evans is handcuffed and ushered in the prison van. The van left and it turned right from Chipping Norton. The prison officers unlocked the handcuffs and asked Evans where he would like to go. In fact, they were Evans' friends. Evans had once again outsmarted the governor. Now we'll discuss the main characters of the story. The first main character is Evans. Evans is a congenital kleptomaniac and is known as Evans the Brick. He is a genius in planning and is an excellent manipulator. His entire plan is well planned and each step is calculated. Apart from being clever, Evans is a keen observer. It is due to his intelligence, presence of mind, and cleverness that he is taken out of the prison house by Carter himself, who is unaware of the fact that the man whom he is taking out is not the parson but Evans himself. He is an excellent actor and understands human psychology so well. He knew that the jail authorities will never think that it was Evans who stayed back and it is McCleary who ran away. He acted so well that nobody doubted him. He was a genius as finally, in spite of being arrested by the governor, he was able to escape because of his friends disguised as police officers. Character number 2, the governor. The governor of HM prison is a very intelligent and vigilant person, but at times he overestimates himself. He is extra cautious in Evans' case, but is too much dependent on his staff and makes hasty conclusions. He is full of ideas and many a time his hunches prove true, but he never investigates them. Though he is always conscious of Evans' cleverness, he fails to understand Evans' psyche. The conjectures brought the successful implementation of Evans' plans. He does not cross-examine the identity of the wounded man and is led on. However, he is intelligent and analytical. He is able to put 2 and 2 together and locate the Golden Lion Hotel and reach Evans. But as usual, in his zeal to look efficient, he does not check the identity of the prison officers. This results in the escape of Evans. Next character is Jackson. Jackson is a young and alert prison officer. Like the governor, he is very alert and enthusiastic about his duty. He is very keen and serious, and being a senior is good at giving instructions and orders to his subordinate Stephens. Though he looks stern, he is soft at heart and is gullible. He allows Evans to wear his cap on and doesn't doubt him. He is so excited that he fails to notice small but important details. He is careless not to check McCleary thoroughly and so failed to note 2 cloaks, 2 beards and 2 collars that McCleary was wearing. He was so casual about his duty that didn't even bother to go and check Evans after the exam was over. Now we'll discuss the main points of this story. Evans seeks permission to appear an O-level German exam from the jail. He is granted permission as he is young and amiable person. He is called Evans the Brick as he has escaped from the jail thrice. Thorough checking is done before and on the day of the examination. Evans seeks permission to put on his hat which is a lucky charm for him. On the day of examination, his invigilator, Reverend Stuart McClure, arrived on scheduled time. McClure was in long black overcoat and a shallow-crowned clerical hat. Examination was conducted inside his cell under strict care and vigil of Stephens and Jackson. McClure was checked thoroughly before entering the cell. Jackson ensured all safety measures so that Evans could not escape. Exam started a bit late at 9:40 a.m. The assistant secretary informed that there was a correction slip to be kept in the package. Stephens peeped through the peephole at the interval of 1 minute or so. Evans asked for a blanket. After the paper was over, Stephens dropped McClure to the main gate. When he peeped into Evans' cell, he was shocked to see McClure bleeding there. McClure told him he knew the whereabouts of Evans. Jackson rushed to the spot in Newsbury. Evans had impersonated McClure. Ultimately, he was spotted at the Golden Lion Hotel. The governor told him that he got his address through the correction slip. He was arrested and taken in a police van, from where he was freed by his friend in police uniform. So dear friends, if you have liked this video, please click on like, subscribe the channel and click on the bell icon to get more videos like this. Thank you very much for watching.